This dress was donated to me by a follower. It was worn for a wedding in 1938. The original wearer was born in 1917, and she was 21 years old when married. This had a little cute piece of satin stitched inside, which I'm assuming was for the something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. The dress has a matching cropped bolero jacket, and then the dress portion of it has a attached inner lining. It's not a separate slip, as oftentimes was the case with these vintage 1930s lace dresses. So the underarms on that jacket were really shot. I didn't know what I was going to be able to do, but I thought I'm just going to try to just go about it as carefully as I can. And I'm going to start with just soaking the jacket in distilled water. A follower recommended this as a way to potentially kind of rehydrate the fabrics with less contaminations in water since it's distilled. And that actually fared quite well. So now to address the staining on the underarms, my trusted go-to is peroxide, Dawn, and baking soda. You're making a solution that you're brushing on, and then you take the baking soda and you're kind of making a paste. And then you let that sit. Kind of the length of time varies, but I did that for an hour on this one. And I get some really warm water and rinsed it off. Now I'm going to take that something blue little snippet out and save that for later. And then I'm going to remove the buttons too, because I've learned the hard way. Those can rust if you leave them in. So since I know that the jacket fared well with the distilled water soaking, I'm going to do the same process with the dress. And I just put that in and let that soak for 8 hours as well. So to address the yellowing, use sodium perborate. You have to dissolve that in really hot water. And I heated the distilled water in an electric kettle. I put a tub inside of a tub so that A, allowed me to use less water, and B, it's going to allow me, you'll see later, I'm going to add hot water to the outer tub to help maintain a warmer temperature. Glass plates on top because it wants to pop up and you need to keep it submerged. So I'm adding hot water about every hour to the outer tub to keep the temperature maintained, and I covered it as well. So here it is after 4 hours. I'm not going to look at it, but I'm just thinking that it looks pretty good. So I'm taking that outer tub water for a rinse, and then to get more of that solution off, I'm going to do a retro wash for 15 minutes and then more rinsing. So now you're going to squeeze out the water, and now it's the first time I'm taking a look at it, so I'm hoping it's good. You got to be really careful with these vintage lace dresses when it's wet. Get most of the moisture out with doing a towel dry, and then I put it on a mannequin with the pin and coax method to let it dry. Now for those underarms. So when the lace breaks like this, the best way to go about it, you're just trying to kind of make the eye not go to those holes. So you're kind of creating bridges. You're getting to the more sturdier parts of the lace and just going back and forth with a single thread of matching. So that's why you do this after the garment's been cleaned, because you're not quite sure what the color is going to look like until it's done. So you just gotta be patient and go back and forth. And look, it's so much better. Obviously, you can see the threads if you're really inspecting it, but the overall, again, your eye just isn't going to those holes. So I debated on the buttons. They didn't look quite as clean as the dress because I didn't wash them. So this is an experiment. I just didn't want to use new buttons though. So I sprayed with peroxide and just immediately put them in baking soda and let that sit for an hour. And then I took a brush and a hairdryer to get rid of the peroxide or the baking soda, and also to kind of make sure they were dry. And they did brighten up a little bit. So I was able to reuse them. And then I put that little blue fabric back in and then pressed and steamed it. And here it is. Those underarms. I'm so happy that they're presentable once again. And I was so happy to be able to use those buttons again because I love that shape. And the dress itself is just that classic deco with just that little bit of a flare. It's got this cute bolero crop jacket, which I'm so glad that I was able to save. And it's got the cute little button at the top. And I just love these vintage wedding dresses. There's so many different styles. And that this is wearable once again after all these years from 1938 just makes me so happy. And I really appreciate the donation. Thank you.